So we could begin. How are you?
I'm all good. Just came back from Australia.
And you
Yeah.
come, when do you plan to go to India? Monday?
The Sunday night.
Sunday night. Okay. So
It's Sunday night.
we
Yes.
just catch you in between Australia and India.
Yeah. Yes. Correct.
Thank you so much. So maybe we could begin.
Yeah.
You already know the context of that class because you came last year
Yes. Yes.
physically at
Yeah.
ÉNSA.
Yeah.
This interview. So this year we are studying different firm, as you know, as in firms, different from last year. And sometimes when we like too much and when the student don't want to quit one of the firm, like it's the case with you, we do it twice.
Okay.
You, because they love you so much.
Thank you. Okay.
And so maybe you have seen all the firms that we have already met during this session, or no?
No, not yet actually.
Okay, so the last one on Wednesday was NKAA. They are from Vietnam.
Oh, okay.
You would like very much what they are doing because they're melting architecture and landscape and doing that kind of landscaped ED architecture building with a mix between the plants and the building, like greenhouse style. Very
Nice.
different from tropical space. It's not at all the same style. The interview before NKAA was the one of I think in between we have another one. I think it's, yeah, no, you're right. It was Takeda.
The Japanese.
Hirohi, I
Yeah.
think. I don't remember exactly the first name.
I think I saw that. Yes.
Yeah, so from Japan, that is also an architect that is melting a lot, physically architecture and landscape, like planting the building. And before Takeda, it was Chatapong, Chat Architects from Bangkok, very good one also. Working on the bastard of Bangkok. Bastard for him, it's vernacular architecture that could be found everywhere in the world, and is making this kind of inventory atlas of the different bastards architecture of the world. And it's making projects with this learning from the bastards. Bastards, a bastard, a child that has not father, or even is orphan. He has no father or no mother. Bastard, B-A-S-T-A-R-D.
B-A-S-T-A-R-D.
Bastard.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the real word he is employing. That's quite fun and very, very interesting. Fun and interesting times.
So it's a hybrid, is it?
What?
Is it like a hybrid? Something like a hybrid.
I don't get the word you say.
You were saying bastard.
Yeah.
Is it something like hybrid? Hybrid. Hybrid.
No, it's vernacular architecture, that are made without architects.
Right. Oh, okay, okay.
And he make the demonstration how he can make his own architecture, learning from this kind of vernacular that is a urban vernacular. At the beginning, he worked in the city and especially Bangkok, but now is making also rural bastard in the countryside of Thailand and everywhere in the world.
Right.
And the first meeting was with Bangkok Tokyo Architecture. I think you know them. The girl is from Bangkok. The guy is from Kyoto, as far as I remember. So it's a couple, Japanese and Thai. They are making a really beautiful architecture and landscape, like little scale architecture.
Okay.
Okay, so you are the last one.
The last one.
We keep the best for the last interview.
I hope so.
And, so the four students you have here, there are two from Brazil.
Right. Okay.
Up
Hello.
for us, it's Maria Clara, Marie-Claire in French, and Ana Luísa. And your name, girls, are not written on the computer. So I did it by myself. Could you imagine that?
Well, for me, it's showing as it's written.
Yeah, but it's our setting. I'm just saying that I did it right today for the first time because we are in this class since September, and I always confuse both of them, Ana Luísa and Maria Clara. I don't know why.
Okay.
So today I know who is who. That's good. And here we have Floriane and
Clémence.
Clémence
Okay.
from France and Brazil in Zoom because they come back to I think you two both you came back to Brazil.
Just me.
Maria Clara. Okay. So they will lead the interview. They have prepared questions as always. They send it to you some days before, and so they will do the job as always. Just
All right.
Okay. Hello, Johan Go. We are delighted to meet you and have the chance to talk with you. Thank you for this great collaboration, which allows us to explore architecture around the world and study various solutions that respond to climate issues. So first of all, can you tell us about yourself and your philosophy?
Yes. Can I share screen?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, let me try. Here's my image. Okay. Okay, so before I talk about my company, I just want to introduce a little bit about what I hope I can do. So this is a little jewelry that I created. It is in the shape of chrysalis. Um, After a butterfly gone through a process of metamorphosis, a journey through agony that everyone must traverse. So I was inspired by the natural phenomenon of salt lick, where butterflies are found on the tears from crocodiles or tortoises in the forest because they need the minerals to survive. So there is me, and then there's our founders at the middle. Our studio is a place for everyone to grow. But then, of course, sometimes tears are unavoidable. So I created this little jewelry as a reminder for the next exquisite growth. So don't cry. If you cry, collect your tears for the butterfly. So, and it is also through the act of tear gathering. I hope someone can just momentarily eclipse their own suffering by forming a relationship with other beings. So that is what I hope I'm doing. I want to form relationship because we are a landscape company. We are not really architecture, but then we grow out from rainforest. And what we are really inspired is actually from the symbiosis relationship from the forest. I want to share this story. About 13 years ago, we started to explore the rainforest. Every time we went in, we feel really unbearable because there are villagers chasing us. There are screeching sounds. I think Maria and Ana Luísa, you guys should know in like Amazon forest, like when you went in, it's just there are all these screeching sound around you, and then you can't even see through because the foliage is so dense. But then through years of studies of rainforest, I started to kind of form relationship with a lot of beings because I started to know them. Leech is no longer very scary, and every time when I went into forest now, I feel there is this resonance around the whole lives in the forest. And then in 1845, Alexander von Humboldt, he came up with a concept of nature is a web of life, as the earth is a living organism where everything is interconnected from the tiniest insects to the tallest tree. Not far from what we believe in Buddhist sutra, in Indra's net, where one diamond shines, all the rest of the diamonds sparkles one after another. So to me, I believe that the science assisted us to see the earth as an organism, and art encourages us to feel the interconnectedness. So my interest as a landscape architect, or I prefer to call myself a landscape artist, is to bridge the science and the spirituality to form a deeper relationship between humans and other beings. And then I want to share this artist, Philip Parano. Oh, it's not moving, sorry. I think Magali knows him. In this gallery in Tate Modern, the whole space is programmed and controlled by the East circadian cycles and transforming the whole exhibition space into a world of its own. And the visitors are the part of the participants as well. And the space is, sorry, the movie is, the video is not running. So the whole space is interconnected. So that is our interest in terms of forming relationship. And then we started to realize that actually we humans do not only constituted by mind and body. In fact, I contain multitudes. Like for example, there is this face might stay in all of our faces, also on your face. It's just that we can't see them. And quoting from Ed Yong's book, these invisible microbes in our bodies, they sculpt our organs, they defend us from disease, break down our food, educate our immune system, and even guide our behavior. So we all are holobionts. And this is the beginning where our interest stretch into invisible microbes, fungi that in fact influence our whole environments, just like COVID. I hope that gives you a little bit of the story and the philosophy of us. Did I answer your question? Sorry.
Additionally, we would like to know what's your idea of sanctuary, and do you consider the Singapore Pavilion and the Square Forest as types of sanctuaries?
Yeah, actually, I wanted to ask you guys how do you define sanctuary? Because I searched the word. There are a few interesting things that I found from the word sanctuary, but what do you guys think about sanctuary? The word sanctuary from your perspective.
When I think about sanctuary, I think about like a place of like peace, of mindfulness, like a protective place, somewhere like not necessarily a place, not somewhere. I think like sanctuary could be a state of mind, could be different things, but I feel like sanctuary it's always like braided with the concept of inner peace, of tranquility, of peace, of shelter, of those kind of feelings.
Right. Okay. So because to me this word is the first meanings of this word to me is like conservation area, like nature reserve. And then when I started to search more, I found that like what you say, it is more, maybe it can be a feeling. It can be somewhere that is holding a sacred object or a very holy place. So to me, Singapore Pavilion is not really a sanctuary at that time because the interconnectedness is not there yet, and it was an exhibition, it was an installation, so it was too many people at that time that I do not feel. But if I imagine I'm there alone, maybe there is something there. For the square forest, I feel it is kind of like a tiny sanctuary, a tiny forest. Later I will talk more about square forest. Yeah. And to me, this interconnectedness is something very important. Also, one of our philosophies is also about working with machine today, because we are now in the modernism. We are no longer as post-mod, where it is only in modernism there is only good and bad, and then in postmodernism there are a lot of questions, a lot of cynicism. But then now we are in meta modernism, like we are now meeting in Zoom, we receive information a lot, and then we can pick what actually it's not that we are picking what we want, it's more of we receive things and then we kind of know what the world is in this current period. Yeah, so then we develop a concept called third light, if I can further elaborate now. So first light is fire, which is the first technology that humans invented, and that helped, in fact, it underpins all kind of technologies or the developments of humans. It protected us from other animals, but it also fends out us and animals. And then the second light is a light bulb, which is in the 19th century. It is almost like a turning point in humanity. Then we on this eternal sun. We turn our days and nights into productive time because of light bulb, and that is further stealing our chronobiology. We no longer feel day and night, and of course the animals is separated from us more and more. And then the third light that we formed recently is the invisible light, the invisible wavelength. For example, UV light or infrared, which were invented for military use in 1800. But then now we are using them to see what we couldn't see. For example, some animals in the night, like a frog, like one type of frog, they can see each other under the UV light, but then other predators cannot see them. So I thought that was very interesting, and then we have to use machines to see all these things. So the last century, maybe we designed only through our big five senses, whatever we can see. So it's very human-centric, because that is what we can feel only. But then what we believe in this century, it is more about accepting that there is technology happening. There are animals or others beings that is around us. So if we change this perspective, pull the humans out of the whole universe, we can start to realize that in fact there are human beings, there are other living beings, there are also the digital beings, we call it. So we form this theory called 33, 33, 33, and 1. So 33 for human beings, 33 for other living beings, and 33 for digital beings. And we leave this 1%, which is the unknown. So each of us can form relationship under this the infinity. Can you guys understand me? Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
So, about the projects, in your opinion, how does the Singapore Pavilion contribute to the Dubai's vision of becoming a city of nature?
Yeah, actually, the city in nature is not Dubai's vision, it's Singapore's vision. Singapore used to be garden city. It was more of a branding and marketing in the 1960s. Actually, it's 60 years ago, yes, correct. Then they changed it to garden, city in garden. And then in recent years, they are trying to make it into city in nature. And in city in nature, they are trying to conserve more nature reserve, safeguarding all the animals. Of course, also to face the environmental crisis, for example, natural-based solutions at the north side of Singapore, they are using like mangrove to gut the sea level rise issue. So all these are city in nature's kind of visions in Singapore. And Singapore Pavilion, what was interesting is the architect Woha, they were saying that they want to create a pavilion that is net zero. So net zero water, they get sunlight to generate everything. They take the groundwater and through desalinations, the water can be used. And then before the pavilion was built, we did very precise calculation to distribute all the electricity down to how many times you will flush the toilet. Yeah, and all the water and things. But then to me, the pavilion is like a super organism. It is like a holobiont cyborg, because if we take humans away, with the energy from the sun and the water from the ground, and the whole machines is running, it can become self-sustained as an organism in a way. So to me, the pavilion itself is very alive. So whether it contributes to the city in nature, yes, it does. There are a lot of green things, green messages inside, where okay, how many plants, what plants can do to help to cool down the temperatures. We had a calculation, it is about 5 to 10 degree different when you are in the pavilion and the outside. Of course, that was in summer, so outside is super hot. And then you go into the sheltered, of course, you feel cooling, and with all the plants around and misting system and water running, so it does help to cool down. Yeah. And then we were celebrating diversity of plants. So I can't remember how many species do we have. Really a lot of species, a lot of tree species. In Dubai, people don't plant so many species together, but then we compose it into a garden. So I think we have about 50 species of plants of plants inside, or more than that. Yeah.
Okay, technology is used in a project like the Singapore Pavilion to guarantee the well-being of the environment. So what use could it be to incorporate this type of technology in our daily lives, such as measuring health status of the world, wildlife, environment, stuff like this?
Yeah, so the thing is, to me, the technology, as I mentioned, is not only to help or measuring things. The agriculture has very good or very advanced technologies in terms of measuring the health of the crops, everything. So we don't fight with them. So the technology or the robot that we use, or we believe, is more for expand our senses to feel, so that we can feel other beings.
Can you tell us about the history of the Square Forest project?
Yeah, the Square Forest project was quite interesting. It was just started maybe last year, end of last year. It came from the frustrations of us talking to the developers in Singapore because we are trying to tell them about the concept of forest, the benefit of forest. We tell them about the diversity that forest can create, but then when they heard the word forest, they started to feel so scared. They have fear because forest is something that is out of control to them. So we say, okay, why not we make it very small? We put it into a square like your house that you can see it as an object. So and then it is kind of like being your within your control. So then people started to kind of accept the concept of forest. And I thought it is very easy when you say square forest, it is very catchy. And then people started to want to know, okay, what is square forest? And then from there we connect to them. We tell them about the story, the forest and forest strata and things. So it become a catalyst or an object to link to people or to rewild their mind. Yeah. So that is the history, and then what we wanted to do beyond just planting forests, because I thought everyone can do that. In other aspect, what we want is also to scan the forest into a digital world so that people can see the forest through the machines. As I just told you guys about the UV light, and there are many animal senses. For example, bats, they don't see from their eyes, they actually hear. So sonic sounds is to them is a senses. What else? Ears and then smell. So I also talked to some professors from the Melbourne University about how moth sense things. So all these things we thought if we can make the or translate all these things into the digital world, and people can start to see through not only the machine but also the animals to feel them, and then there is connections between the living lives and us. Yeah.
What was the difficulties that you have encountered? There are any anecdotes that you want to tell us?
Yeah. For Square Forest, right? The difficulties, of course, is in Singapore, a lot of people are asking us, what is your business plan about Square Forest? How this Square Forest can earn more money? That is the number one question in Singapore, because Singapore is very practical. Yeah. So for that, we created a seed forest, actually, to display in a gallery, because we wanted to compare the power of life, which is stored inside the little seed. So we have a 1 meter by 1 meter, and we have seeds inside this box where people can see. And then beside it, we did another box where you can find numbers gilded in gold, put just side by side, because we are all now thinking about GDP. We want to go higher and higher. My salary have to be higher every year. It's a pursuit of number. But then on another hand, life has no prescribed numbers. We want to find out what is the value in terms of lives. Do I answer you?
Yes, thank you. Why and how did you end up choosing the geometry of the Square Forest project?
Why is it square? Is it because first, if it is organic, you won't feel anything. Square, of course, is also in architecture. We all start from straight line. So instead of rectangle, like in any shape, we control it into a square. And why is it only 1 by 1 to 9 by 9 because in Buddhist philosophy, the life is there is no zero in Buddhist. So to them, zero means infinity, and then our life is only 1 to 9. It's a repetitions of 1 to 9 going on as in terms of life. And then what we believe is, if a big tree in a forest fall, it will be it doesn't mean that it is a death. It become another life. The nutrients will go to another life, and then it become a cycle. It's just that this form of life turn into another form of life. So to us, there is no zero. There is only 1 to 9. That's why the square forest is 1 by 1 and to 9 by 9.
So keeping in mind this from 1 to 9, this type of project, like the square forest, can't be reproduced in a larger scale, right? Like if you wanted to do the project like the square forest in the same scale as the Singapore Pavilion, we couldn't do that, right?
Yeah, because to us, if we can plant a forest, we will plant a forest. But then the square forest itself has to be read as an object, as an catalyst to reroute people's mind. So in terms of contribution to ecosystem, 1 meter by 1 meter or even 9 meter by 9 meter, it is very little, very small kind of contribution. But that is also where people can contribute their land. Let's say your backyard, you can contribute a 3 by 3 or 2 by 2. And that is also the intention of a square forest, is to rewild people's mind. Yeah. So I would say if we have a big land to plant a forest, yeah, we will do it, but then it is not a square forest.
The incorporation of robots in your project are intriguing. Are they seen as extension of an ecosystem or as distinct entities?
Sorry, the robot, right? So I had a discourse with our colleagues, I think 2-3 years ago, about what is robot. So I feel robot is a new species. It is not a machine. It is to me, a robot eventually they might have their own consciousness. So it is only when we evolve together with robots, with other life, then we can create a future that is harmonious. So to me, robot is not it's not only an extension of ecosystem, and it is also not an entity, but then it is a new species.
Can I add something to this answer real quick? Do you feel like seeing them as new species, they could somehow become a predatory species in an environment?
Predator species, maybe. It may be. It's an interesting question because so can robot feel love? Can robot be hurt? Or do they have feelings? So those are the questions that we keep on asking, right? And there are a lot of sci-fi movie around that, like, or robot, if they grow and then they will just destroy the earth. But for me, I believe that there will be a way eventually, because like if we are going to destroy, if robot is to destroy the earth, I think we will destroy the earth before they gain this kind of consciousness or this kind of smartness in a way. Yeah.
And how are these robot elements conceptualized in relation to natural and unnatural elements? Do they serve a role in the ecosystem's natural chain?
Sorry, your question was, let me see. do they serve a role in the ecosystem natural chain, is it? How are those robot elements conceptualized in relation to natural and unnatural elements? Do they serve a role in the ecosystem natural chain? The robots that we designed for the Singapore Pavilion is actually to also voice out for the plants, because plants can't talk, and then we feel there is a distance between us and the plant. So robot is there to every day learn about the plants together with, of course, people who knows plants, and then the robots will become smarter and smarter because of machine learning, and then it voice out for the plants. So it is part of the, to me, it is part of the whole ecosystem.
For conclude, what is your vision or dream of the city of the future? What do you think it should like in 2050, for example? Do you have references that inspire you to support your speech?
Yeah, this is a very tough question. I have been thinking about this afternoon. Like, what is 2050 to me? I have never imagined the form of the 2050. But then I do believe that 2050 if we are to stay harmonious with the earth, it has to be together with the other living beings and the technology. So we did installation in Venice Biennale. That is to actually imagine 2050. We imagine a sky forest, or not a sky forest, it's a forest, rainforest city. So in that installation, what we did is we have one half is nature reserve of Singapore, Bukit Timah Nature Reserve, which is about 164-meter high. That is already the highest in Singapore. And the other half is a city, but we imagine that it will be in the same size and the same height as the Bukit Timah Nature Reserve, planted with all green. So that form the rain shadows for the rain to call the rain down for the east side of the Singapore. And then that will fill in more fresh water to Singapore. But that is, in a way, seems to be a perfect solution. But then what we imagine is not only this perfect solution. So in the installation, we put a glass mosquito in the installations, because that is a reminder to us where we are actually very fragile. A mosquito in tropics, it is actually a #1 killer, and it can kill us anytime. So to me, that is what 2050 is. It seems we might have a very perfect kind of world, but then we have to be also aware that the existence of other beings around us, and they can kill us, maybe, or we can kill them. Does it answer you?
I mean, it's a loaded question, and it's like really abstract and open. So
yeah,
it's just for us like to see what do you think about it, because we all have. I don't think anyone has the same like specific idea of how the future is going to be, and we cannot see how it's gonna be 100%. So it's just like
right.
seeing different opinions and maybe change our minds based on someone who probably knows way better than us. So it's great to see different opinions.
Yeah, to us is really, we can come up with any kind of perfect solutions, and we don't think that in terms of environmental crisis, there are two parts. One part is the climatic breakdown, and the other part is the ecological breakdown. And everyone is fighting to solve the issue for climatic, because there are a lot of money inside. they actually came out with a lot of solutions like putting diamonds in the sky so that they can reflect the light back to the sky and create more rain or something. There are many, but then the other part, which is the ecological side, nobody is thinking about that. Nobody thinks that there is value, the extinction of animals. Not many people see that in terms of value. Yeah, so to me, the climatic issues can be solved, be solved. Just like the Singapore Pavilion, it seems to have a really perfect solution. But of course, one day it might at the top there might be some tripping issue, maybe. So that's why the mosquito is there to always remind us that we humans are really powerful. We can create things. Yeah, we can stop the climatic issue, but then think about the ecological issue as well.
I think that was all the questions.
Perfect conclusion. Maybe you would like to ask questions, Johan.
Ask you question. So, yeah, of course. So why do you guys interested in the pavilion and the square forest?
Why did you choose those two projects and not other?
We worked in pairs to figure it out, the projects that we wanted. So me and Ana worked together, and Florence and Clémence as well. Me and Ana, the thing we were like really shocked about, like honestly, we kind of shocked by the whole like firm and everything. We were excited, and we knew that we wanted to analyze one of your projects like immediately because it's amazing. But anyway, we chose the pavilion because I think the pavilion is kind of the most like not like marketing, but the one that it's like it shows, it's like claims your attention because it's a huge thing and it's like almost theatrical, the whole environment. So when you see it for the first time, we were just like, wow, this is huge and this is amazing, and it's like self-sufficient. Like a lot of things were like really interesting to us, and we were like, our attention was immediately caught by it. I think it was because of like the dimension of it. But once we got into it, we were just like kept getting shocked, like the cones and the vertical walls, and how the robots play a role in that environment, and how the water is used, and how the climate changed inside and the outside. And like every single thing we kept on going was like making us even more shocked about it. So it was kind of like the project that we first fell in love with.
Yeah, so yeah, the project, because there was a delay of 1 year because of COVID, and then we just took the chance to further develop it because we were asked to, in fact, just green the pavilion as a landscape architect. And then because of COVID, there was this last room, which is a digital room, they call it. Nobody has curated it. And then we thought that since we are free at that time, why not we give it a try? And that was the born of the robot. We went to a hot pot, hot pot, the restaurant in China, and then we saw those robots singing birthday song to people, serving food. Then we started to think, okay, what is robot? So maybe we need a robot in the pavilion. At the first place, we of course thought of like robot as a very functional things like doing maintenance. Like in city in nature, they are also pushing for having more machines to help to observe the nature reserve or to observe the park. Then when we developed the robot, we started to think about, okay, is robot something that can be loved, or they can feel something. Then we found out this robot that is called Lovebot. I can share with you. Designed by a Japanese, and that robot, they have no function. Their function is to be loved. Let me share.
That's really crazy. I think that Asia as a whole have a lot more of an open mind about robots and about technology than the whole like Europe, Americas have. Because I feel like we kind of see robots as like, oh, an enemy species that is going to take over the earth somehow, someday. And not something to work among us, to work with us, to like help us build something better.
Yeah. So this is Lovot. It's so cute, right? So his function is just for people to hug. And then it's kind of warm when you hug it. Then maybe it get jealous or something. It's an emotional robot. It's not doing anything else, like serving you water or something. So that is where we started to think, what is robot to us? Like what you say, like everyone thought robot is a new species that might be like destroy the earth, but then it can be a new species that evolve together with us. Yeah. And that time we designed a robot, and then we started to talk about the data that the whole pavilion will collect. Clicking of a visitor, so they count every day how many visitors in your pavilion. Say the numbers is so important to the government. Then we started to think, okay, what are those data? So can I translate all the data into a game and create a diorama, a digital diorama, or a simulations of the whole pavilion into a game, and people can be the participants to play the game and then stimulate something, which is the video that we created. A bit inspired by Philippe Parreno actually, because Philippe Parreno's the whole pavilion is interconnected. Then in this pavilion, we wanted that kind of feeling as well. And all the participants, when they come in, they are not only just come and see the architecture, they can be part of it. They can be part of the organs. So we release CO2, for example. So if there are many people in the pavilion, there might be more CO2, for example, and then it will influence the data that's being collected into the game. So when you scan the QR code and start playing the game, you always get a whole set of new game sets that based on the data that's being collected at that time in a real time. Yeah, then it simulates the videos. So if nobody is playing the game, so the video will not play. So that kind of interconnected is what we want to portray in the pavilion, and it is a living things. Yeah. If I don't ask, then I don't know what you guys are thinking about a project. So about the Square Forest.
Because me, I was really at the beginning, I was very interesting for the concept of rewriting the sky, but I follow Clémence.
Okay.
It's a very interesting also. C'est pourquoi toi que t'as choisi?
In French, we call that a hot potato.
Hot potato.
And then the author has to catch the hot potato, so she has to answer now. But you could make it in French if you want.
Oh, okay, I know what you mean, because in Mandarin there is this idioms also. But it's not a potato, it's a yam, hot yam. So yeah, hot the yam.
In Portuguese, it's hot potato as well.
Sorry.
So you could say it in French if you want.
Yeah, you can, and then Magali will help you.
Je ne savais plus quand tu as vu ce projet. J'ai beaucoup aimé l'univers en fait, enfin, ce qui dégageait de ce projet,
Par univers.
l'univers que dégage bien sûr l'agence, mais je sais pas comment dire. Le paysagisme, enfin
I think she's a queen of landscape and interesting on landscape stuff. She was not used to learn about landscape. Here in Versailles, there's very, very few. I am alone now. Before we have 2 landscape architects, but they choose to tenure another guy that is not a landscape architect. So I'm really alone. So maybe she was intrigued and she wanted to discover more about landscape. That's why chose a landscape firm in comparison with an architectural one of the 4 other agencies and meeting we have made. And she said that she was intrigued by the universe of the square forest, but I don't really understand what this universe was about. Is it what we discussed during the meeting? C'est ce dont on a parlé, l'articulation entre le technologique et la nature, ce genre de contradiction, c'est ça? So I made my own interpretation of what she said, just with the word. I like the universe of the square forest, but the contradiction that seems to work together between technologies.
Yeah, I think the square forest, maybe there is something about universe. You know, David George Haskell is a British writer. We got inspiration from his book called Unseen Forest. So in the book, he went into a forest every day, and then he wrote the diary in 365 days, and he only observed the forest, a patch of 1 meter by 1 meter. So then he asked the question, can you see through the universe through the windows of maybe a leaf, a rock, or a drop of water? So in the 365 days, he made a lot of contemplations. He write a lot of things. And every day when he going, even though it's only in the 1 meter by 1 meter, there is always story through maybe a moss, a very small things, insects that they come by, a rain or something. So there is universe to me in the square forest, because that is when you connected to lives, and there's always something very different. The nature can surprise you. Maybe that is the universe that I understand.
Yeah, and I feel for me, I got interested for the Singapore Pavilion because I'm actually not an architecture student. In Brazil, I studied design, so I grew up in the middle of surrounded by the beach and the nature and everything. And I really love to learn about the relation between nature and humans. And that's why I got Magali's classes. I got like all of the classes that I could with her, because I really wanted to learn about this and to bring that back to Brazil, because I love working with like biophilic design to just gather and put human and nature in connection. So that's why I got interested in your project as well.
Yeah. So to also talk about rewilding the sky, because we are from Singapore, so you know Singapore is very dense, and then there's a lot of integration between architecture and green. So green buildings, everywhere is like green facade, greening, a lot of rooftop green. Then of course we green buildings as well, but then we question what is the relationship? What is all this green means? Is it just we plant a lot of green on the facade, and then we fulfill all this checklist from the maybe some government or somewhere to just fulfill the numbers? Then rewilding the sky came out because we say we want to explore the coexistence, not only with the plants, also with animals, the co-evolutions. There are a lot of animals, in fact, evolved to be in the higher ground in the forest. So in forest, there are strata. There are a lot of life stay in the canopy, which is really high, like maybe more than 60 meters. There are epiphytes. They do not need soil. They just grow on the treetop. They even have frogs that are staying in the canopy. So this kind of core evolution, can we started to look into it? And then not only that we bring in green that you can find from the market, can we bring in habitats into the sky, like mangrove, swamp forest, So nobody dare to even talk about habitats in the sky because like I say forest, when people hear forest, then they just feel scared about forest. So in terms of rewilding the sky, we wanted to bring more habitats instead of bringing more numbers of green. Yeah. There is a project that maybe I can show you guys, and then that maybe is a 2050. Let me see.
Ah oui, c'est vrai. Plus 7.
Let me share screen. Oops. So interspecies money is a type of technology that in 2021 invented by Jan Lagat. He is saying that he wants to use the blockchain's technology to help the animals or other living beings to gain their financial independence. I don't know how it works. It's very complicated in terms of finance, but then it's a technology to help us to comprehend other species. So last year we did this with Magali. When we went there, we created this mangrove bank where it can help to absorb more carbon, because now carbon is money. If you can absorb carbon, then you can actually gain money. Yeah. So we will imagine that if in future, since we want to embody more carbon, can we in fact don't tear down any existing buildings, but we put in more habitats into the existing buildings since nobody is using it. But then of course, if you see here, there is a habitats, but there are also usable space in between. So embody the carbon also to do carbon sinking with habitats. And then we call this project a tall line. The video is not moving. This is also not moving, but what we want eventually is we want to connect with, for example, scientists, artists, public, and more people to come and become the whole web of ecosystem. And eventually, maybe the nature can create a gallery by itself. So that is maybe the future that I imagine, you know, like the nature has gained their independence in terms of finance. They can even create the gallery by themselves if the algorithm, everything is correct. And we, of course, we assist them. Yeah. So I thought that maybe is my vision of 2050.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I would free you because you need to eat, you need to relax a little bit. It's very late. It's 21. Yeah, it's 9.
Yeah, it's 9 p.m. now. So
yeah. Thank you so much.
I hope I answer the questions.
Yeah, that was perfect. Thanks to the student also to prepare this questionnaire and to organize this. As last, they will ask. Sorry?
I mean, if you have anything that you want to further asking me, you can just write to me. Maybe I don't answer well, and then you can question me back again.
And as last year, they will send you the present. You remember Marwa and Iba give you present? So they are preparing it.
Yeah, I collect it from Paris.
They will send it by email.
Okay, thank you so much.
If there's something that is physical, I could bring it to you when
you are coming.
And also, I will write you soon because we will begin to set the summer school with the Bartlett about the forest affair. So I will write you soon. It will be in July, and we will prepare it in February till next week.
Correct.
Week till February. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
You guys. Bye. Bye bye.